Now, Publicis Groupe, with its many agencies, is celebrating its 100th birthday. And it's a huge milestone at a time when industry leaders are quick to write obituaries for agency models as we see it. Joining me are two leaders from the creative side of Publicis, both with a proven track record. Let me start with Marco Venturelli. Now, Marco wears so many hats that I literally needed the help of pen and paper to cover them all. So I'm going to read it. Marco is the global CEO and the Chief Creative Officer of Leo. He's also the CEO and CCO of Publicis Council. And he also heads Publicis Groupe in France as the CCO. And coming to Raj, who's a celebrated advertising leader in the country. But despite having years of experience, he's still considered as the youngest creative person in the country because of the kind of enthusiasm he has and because he's always brimming with ideas. So thank you so much, Raj and Marco, for joining me here.
Thank you.
Now, I was just going through your LinkedIn profiles. I realized both of you joined the Publicis ecosystem around the same time, 2014, 2015.
Oh, yeah, must be, yeah.
Have you known each other for that long? Or is it after the elevation?
No, more recent. It's more recent.
I realized a lot has happened in that, in those last 10 years at Publicis with the acquisition, of course, of Sapient and Epsilon, Marcel coming in. I want to know from both of you, in the past 10 years, if you had to compare the time when you joined the company and now, what is the biggest factor that has changed?
The holding companies always tell about how integrated they are. Real integration is a hard job to achieve, and it takes time. We started this journey many years ago. It started, of course, with the Power of One and the country model. When the P&L is one, it's just the first step. Then there is all a matter of integrating capabilities. That, by the way, in the last 10 years in our group grew exponentially because we had a lot of, as you were saying, a lot of acquisition, a lot of new tech, a lot of innovation. Where at the beginning was very complicated. I was there, remember how difficult it was to start thinking as a really big global group. But eventually today, I think, if I have to tell you, is our number one strength. While our competitors, as you were mentioning, merger and things like that, probably are much more in an earlier stage. So we have a bit of advantage and we have to make the most of it.
Raj?
I think one of the best thing that happened in the last 10 years, and I will change, when the change was happening, we never understood what was happening. I think 2017 or 18 when Marcel was coming, everyone, the entire world looked at it and says, we're not coming to Cannes, you are putting Marcel.
Right.
Marcel, AI? AI?
What's it going to do?
What are you going to do? And it was, I think the group had vision much before than what the norms are. And that is why the group was always ahead of its time. And either AI or production or content. For instance, I remember when Leo and Publicis decided to have his own content house. Everyone is like, why you need a content house in-house? You don't need a content house in-house, you don't need AI in-house. But now if you look at it, because thanks to that, it is like someone put that trees long back before us. So we are having a most comfortable journey of creating content or using the AI or having all the ecosystem around us.
I noticed that globally, I think that Publicis Worldwide was merged with Leo. In India, it was merged with 3 agencies, PBH, Saatchi and Leo. Usually consolidations are very tricky.
But let me clarify something, because there's something that probably we didn't do and is our fault. Explain enough when we launch it. Because there is a lot of talk of merger consolidation. There was nothing financial behind. It was really, as I was telling you before, is just a talent organization. The objective of making, we didn't cut any office, we didn't put anything. The real objective was to make sure that we can give to our global client, mainly by the local one, access to the simplest way to reach very strong center of creative and strategic excellence around the world that can work together. So it was not a merge.
Okay.
In fact, it's very funny. Like I remember when it was happening in 2025 Jan, and we even knew that what's happening and everything. We went to meet. There was 4 or 5 of us, creative heads. Think of it, very important. 4 or 5 creative heads sitting in that room, and deciding, and Marco was having the vision of what we should be doing for our clients and the best talent. And now that is not a merger, that is actually having a vision, what do you call that, lineup, thinking what is going to do for the next 5 years with our best talent. And think of it, it's sitting the creative people in a room with a couple of CEOs, and we're deciding the future of what it's going to be.
I think it happens so beautifully with, I think there was also that logo synchronization in a way, the lion, the Leo,
yeah.
all of that coming together. But having said that, when you're talking about clients moving, teams moving to certain agencies and clients moving with them, was the concern for clients that they want to come to Leo because, you are the superstar agency, Leo Burnett, you are the superstar agency of Publicis Groupe. Did they all want to be where you were?
I think more than agencies, clients love the people they work with, and the comfort they have with the people. And like we're talking about this, when the client don't join just an agency. The agency and the faces and the people who take a responsibility, and that is the reason. So it was not like, and by the way, I wear a group hat that they can have me anytime they want it.
Okay. Also, Marco, around that time, you mentioned that creativity is and will forever be a messy human process.
Yes.
Now, like a year later, when AI has been at its full power, I think Publicis has had a great positive AI outlook, and a lot of the functions that creatives do are also being kind of managed by AI. Would you change your statement in any way?
No, I double down on that for many reasons, because there is so much technology, that we have so many new tools that it's so easy away, because what happened is the barrier to create content and to reach people in different way got so low. You still need to find the thing that resonates. You still need to find the things that create an emotional connection more than ever. And that's the part, if you want, that in the equation is brought by the Leo side. The new Burnett history, the legacy of the humankind. So that's why we're very happy of having these two sides of the brain working together. AI gives you a lot of tools, gives you a lot of opportunity, a lot of possibilities. But the more the possibilities, the clearer the vision needs to be. So I'm happy to confirm what I was saying.
There are so many times that a campaign solves real problems, and Leo Burnett does a lot of that. And when it really works in one market, how do you bring that power of one and into the other markets and make sure that it's also executed elsewhere? Like the Gatorade campaign, I think it was fantastic, genuine problems. And also I think a Whisper campaign, again it's a global client. So how much of work that is happening in India is really going elsewhere in your other markets?
It's a two-way road. There's great idea can come from India to the world. And there are some great global ideas that can come to India, be relevant in India. Think about, you mentioned the Gatorade. It could be easily deployed somewhere else. It's more meaningful in India for many reasons, because there is a challenge of space and stuff. But in reality, is an idea that I don't need a translator. It's an idea that speaks a universal language. And if you see, that's exactly how modern global brands are built. They have a very strong, solid, global, universal fix, if you want, part of their brand. And then they have all the colors of the places where they live. And you cannot have, if you have only one, you are a top-down brand, and so you don't speak to people. If you are the only other, you don't have this kind of universality that you are looking for when you're a global brand. So that's the job that we are trying to do more and more together.
Raj, you're smiling. You want to add to that?
No. I think it's very important. I'll tell you what. It's very, for instance, a lot of like Marco has been work on AXA, for instance. It's so amazing. Like three words, right? It works anywhere. It works anywhere, any country. If it is solving, because they're solving a human problem, and what the beautiful thing is about the new constellation is, you work on certain kind of brand, you have a certain kind of experience. Can I get that person from this country and that person this country just to advise? And Marco has something like it is a buddy system. That buddy is not going to overpower you, at least to help you to pull back and says, I think, can we do this thing? And always give that
another
fresh
set
perspective.
Of eyes. Fab. And talking about clients, you're very well integrated now as an agency. How has that impacted the client billings, new account wins?
See, you'll never see. We never talk about wins. We never talk about wins because someone taught me a very nice thing. It says, "Win is nothing till you don't make something out of it."
Anyway, it's a net positive. If I have to assess the impact of Leo on new business win, is a very positive one.
But do you focus more on retentions because you've had very, very long relationships with clients? Is it more retentions or is it more about new business wins?
We were talking about that before.
You talk about it.
For me, retention is probably the most important metrics because having, and Raj has a very good score on that, having clients that want to stick with you in the long term, no matter what, when the temptation of changing for changing sake is always there for them, is for me the most important metric. Means that you really move from being an agency to being a partner. If you think about the best brand in the history, have always been built with incredibly long-lasting partnership.
Another problem or maybe concern today is that, while Raj has spent maybe like 10 years in the agency, 10, 12 years now, but on the marketing side, the CMOs have shorter and shorter tenures. So in such a case, because agencies are considered to be, very strong extensions of the marketing team in this way or that, when you have an idea that's supposed to get a long run, and there's a CMO who's constantly changing at the brand's end, how do you really make sure that, it gets its due and, it's not killed halfway through?
How do you?
Let me tell a story. I always tell, when I work with my CMOs, I will make sure they become a global CMO.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I say every CMOs that I work with, and some of them I have promised, not because of anything, because I know that what we do will not just make them successful as a human being, but as the leaders, brand leaders, or the creative leaders, or as the marketers, or as the CEO. Because it is when most of the time it's we talked about the thing that sometimes we look award show as the benchmark of a lot of things, but our job is to make the impact for the clients and for the people, for the brand and the people. So a lot of time when you do successful brand work, obviously the client will move because now he will need a growth, now he will need a bigger market. So sometimes when you do good work, I'm sad that my good clients leave, but then I get new clients come in. And so a good idea will be a successful client, and successful client will move on. And that will carry the next generation of people. And most important are the people that you're working with are very, very important because they are they are risking their brands much more than what we are risking at. And so we have to give them success constantly.
Right.
Their pressure is massive.
Okay. Talking about pressures, today a lot of external factors are getting into the growth of an agency, be it an in-house agency culture, AI of course to some extent, and influencers also trying to become agencies in their own right. What is the biggest challenge that you face and how are you kind of overcoming all of this to make sure that the growth is positive? Because there are so many agencies today, advertising is growing, but agencies are not growing. So how do you kind of tackle that? Yeah.
I think we as agency partner, and again, I go always back to the same concept of partnership. We are more needed than ever. Exactly for this reason, because of course there are a lot of touch point, a lot of creator, a lot of alternative solution. But when I do think, if I think about the best work I've ever done and the work that has been most useful for my client, is the work that I achieve because I am very close to them. I really know their business, but I don't think like that. And this is a very unique equilibrium to have because a creator has a very transactional relationship with a brand. In-house agency can be a solution, but the reality is that you lose this magic factor of not thinking like them because by definition in a medium term or long term, when you are in-house agency, you start thinking like you need an agency on a strategic level, you need an agency on a creative level.
So you said a brand needs an agency. What does an agency really need for growth? What are the different wings that you need to support this upcoming growth for the agency in the near future? Like there's production house for one, of course. There's money there.
I think as an agency, we are just a creative partner to see what all lack or loophole that is there to make the brand stronger. We are not a communication partner. Remember that. That's why I always say we are not an agency partner. We are a creative partner, we are a brand partner. right? So it is a pent-up process. You have to go through it. When we are doing Lays, we are talking about potato farming. Think of it. We have to farmers, we are not farmers. When you Whisper, we're talking about books. Are we educator? We are not educator. Now, we are actually seeing everywhere and anywhere, like you'll see in fact, Sriram, we are creating the entire product of ecosystem Sri RM loan, which is not a new kind of loan. So an entire CV loan will be Sri RM loan. Now, understand, it's an entire ecosystem we are changing. How so that we are turning every trucker into businessman. Successful businessman. Now understand, what are we doing? We are not here to do just advertising. Of course we'll do communication. Of course we'll do a TVCs. Of course we'll tell a story. Of course we'll talk to influencers. But to go back and says, what is the business problem? What is the human problem? Can I solve that? If we can solve that, that's our forte. So there is nothing we can't do.
So are you saying that a lot of clients do give that seat on that table to the agency today? I mean, the ones that you work with, which ones?
I do. You know that. I do. In fact, Spotify is one of them. So we know that about, right? I'm talking about Sriram, Pepsi, a lot of brands. I can go on and on. A lot of brands that we work with, like a lot of brands that we're presently working. I don't want to name all of them. That's why, because we have the board and in the center and says, let's solve the problem together. We are going through this. How can we solve this? So we actually what I'm seeing, where the agency role starts and the agency role ends has vanished. Now we are the new cloud for a lot of clients who says, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, this problem is happening with me. Night 2 a.m., the government has changed this rule. Can we do something? This part of the work market has gone down. My competition is changing. My influencer plan is not working. So we are the one-point contact of the client and says, help me to solve what's happening wrong with me, or how to make the growth happen.
And you spoke about geography, and I want to know, where does India really rank in the global scheme of things for Leo?
India for Leo. So you can ask everyone, when I have to pitch Leo and tell the story of how Leo Constellation is an incredible network of talent, India is always the first example I give.
Really? Wow.
Yes. Because for several reasons, and they're very pragmatic reasons. One is because it is already, we are in a journey of excellence. Okay, so the Constellation, the objective, and is a very clear objective, is to aim to be the best in what we're doing. I think that they are already pretty close to be the best in the region, so it's a compliment, but it's a reality. Secondly, the state of mind. They are, Rajan and the team are really the most welcoming, open-minded, collaborative, generous people you can find in the business. And the other thing is the fact that they already have a bit these two, you remember I was talking about these two sides of the brain, the tech, the innovation, the disrupting side, and the human side. Then they already have both in a very powerful way. So for me, it's always a benchmark, and they're always the first one I call when there's an opportunity.
On speed dial.
Yeah.
and they answer straight away.
Doesn't matter whatever time it is. We are on. Okay, we are on.
So creatively, of course, Raj and team are out there. I want to know from revenue perspective as well. How much does India really contribute to the overall Leo revenues?
The luck that we have is that we are in a group that doesn't really. I mean, the way the revenue is on a country level. So in a way, it takes away certain mechanic. I don't necessarily evaluate agency in terms of the revenue. We evaluate agency in terms of course, they need to be the best in what they do in their market. They need to grow, and they need to be part of the global team. Then, in the specific, I'll let you answer, because we're lucky enough to have the CEO.
Chairman also of the year. No, I think one of the biggest thing is more than also revenue. I will talk about all the brand that is a scale, right? All the brand won the footprint to be in India and to be a success story in India. Because if they're not success in India, because most of the international brands are successful everywhere else, now they're looking at the next market, which is India is going to be the next market. So that success story for them is the most important thing. So we know all the brands that you know, all the list of the brands that we work with and what we do with them. So that is the most important thing in the global mandate for all the CEOs and the CMOs to see Is the India operation doing amazingly or not? I get a lot of calls from Marco suddenly. That client is want to meet you, or they are doing in India. I said, okay, Marco, we'll fix this thing up and everything, because India is the most important market. Let's talk about it. 1.4 billion people, the youngest nation, with the growth mentality, always do mentality, the hustle mentality. We are up, doesn't matter whatever the problem throws at it, we make it happen. And a country likes that. The growth is the most important thing that we look into it. So it's not about the size, it's about the attitude that clients have it here. It's amazing. I'm looking at all my marketers and I'm seeing their global counterpartners. That's what I told you. When I work with the CMOs, I know that who other global CMOs are going to be. The hunger, the attitude, and work in the partnership and the vision. Amazing, amazing.
And if you think about it, is an agency that is excelling in creative awards and in FE at the same level. So when you have these two sides, you know they are doing well.
We're doing something right, that means.
I wanted to bring that up. I remember reading that Burnett Mumbai was the number one in 2025 in Walk 100 effective agencies list. And then you slipped to the number 2 position this year. So is it more difficult to create, to sustain that creative, the awards, being in that limelight for awards versus maintaining that effectiveness part of it? What is more tricky?
I still remember a very interesting story was going on. I did Bajaj V. And Bajaj V, India loved it. You know how India loved that piece of work. It was one of the national favorite. We went to Cannes thinking of wipe out Cannes, and we just had 15 or 17 shortlist and 1 bronze. And I was very sad. So my wife asked me a very simple thing. She says, do you think the people who bought Bajaj V are sad because they didn't win Cannes? I says, no. Do you think the client who sold thousands or millions of bikes is sad because he didn't Cannes? She says, no. Do you think the stock market did well? We're not winning Cannes? I said, yes. Why the hell you are crying for it? And that's what it is. Our job is to create work that impacts people's life and make business happen successfully. If we win, it's good. If it doesn't win, it's fine.
But
of course, we love to win.
Which are your favorite pieces of work from India this year?
This year, more than favorite, the one that I think is going to travel more is Sting.
Sting, F1.
F1, because is such a, and I say with all the love and respect you can give to this word, it's such a silly, incredibly smart idea. From the first time we saw it, we loved it. And on the other side, the one that I think has more potential in long term because it's really an incredible transformative work is the Serum work.
Okay, I want to ask one more to Raj, and this could be slightly tricky. Now, most CCOs keep moving around, for better opportunities. You've been at Leo for 12 years, and of course, you've seen growth here. What made you stay, and what is it that could make you leave?
So I was just today we are having the same chat.
Oh my God, I'm answering all your questions.
I'll tell you, I said 13 years. I said, when someone told me what you will come to leave, I says, the best thing about Formula One is not about the best driver that you have. You know, the best car and the best team. I think in 13 years, I have one of the best team in the country, undoubtedly. And in fact, in Asia. Though it is very indigenous, full of Indians. We don't have anyone from anywhere out there. Either we don't have Brazilians, I don't have the Japanese, I don't have Singaporean team, I don't have anything. Indigenous Indian team and winning Grand Prix and Spikes Agency of the Year. That means we have designed a team which is amazingly to be number 1. And that is what about it. It's not about the driver, it is the team and the car. We got the best team, we got the best client lineup. One of the best clients we have, you know that, but the lineup is one of the best clients that we have built. Not we have got those clients, we got and defined them into the future facing clients in the last 7 to 10 years. So I think in that journey, you have created so well for the people and for the team, what my team needs next, what my client needs next. So somewhere, it's a very sacrificial job. If you do be the leader to be sacrifice yourself and thankless, you can say that in a bad way, but in a good way. It is so sacrificial that selfless job that you do because you are creating something amazing. if we can put India in that world map out there, the next creative superpower, what Brazil was, right? I think I've done the job right then. For that, it'll take a couple of more years maybe, but I know we have the best team and the country is thriving now with the other agency also. We know that surrounding. So amazing timing. That's my goal, and goal is so big and impacting 1 billion people's life.
Fantastic. You're moving in the right direction, Raj. Thank you so much. I hope your partnership continues to do well for the agency and for the group as a whole.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Neeta. Thank you.